Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user DocWario. My 33 male girlfriend, 25 female, of 5 months, boasts about me being a doctor and is hinting at marriage and kids already. Don't want to assume anything, but I fear she might just want me for my money. Throwaway because she knows my real account. Also, I'm Italian and prefer Wario to Mario. A little background. I've only had 2 long-term relationships before her. My high school girlfriend, who I was with for 6 years, 16 to 22, and my other girlfriend, whom I was with for 4 years, 26 to 30. Both breakups were amicable with no infidelity or shady happenings. They were primarily my fault due to how I prioritized studying or work over them. I am still friends with my second girlfriend, who is now married to a good man and has 2 kids. In between those relationships and before I met my current girlfriend, I've been keeping things casual with no commitment. I met my current girlfriend 6 months ago at a bar while out with some friends, and as corny as it sounds, it was love at first sight. She was unquestionably the most gorgeous woman I have ever seen, easily 15 out of 10. We got to talking, went on some amazing dates, and made things official after 1 month. I was just enamored by her sense of humor, how enthusiastic and exciting she was, and always in awe of her beauty. Although we don't have too many interests in common, the chemistry is tremendous and I've never felt so strongly attracted to anyone before. We already said we love each other 4 months in, and I truly believe it. But lately, some things started to bother me. When she introduced me to her friends, she bragged about me being a doctor. It was seemingly light-hearted, so I laughed and then jokingly bragged about it too. When she introduced me to her parents, she did the same thing but with a bit more gusto this time. And over the last month and a half, she's been talking more and more about marriage and children, although never quite explicitly saying we would get married and have kids. The hints are strong though. Last week, we went to a charity event she was involved in, and every single person she introduced me to that night, she said the same thing. "Hello, this is my lovely boyfriend and the man I will spend my life with, OP. He's a cardiologist, you know." I've always been fairly modest about what I do, so it was uncomfortable for me to hear her gush about my job to strangers. I was feeling uncomfortable, but smiled and went along with it so as to not dampen her mood. And the "man I will spend my life with" part hit me like a speeding truck. She didn't say future husband, but F me if I don't know what her implication was. I love my girlfriend, and I did believe prior to all this that I would eventually marry her and have children with her, but I didn't expect this to come up effing 5 months in. Now, I'm fearing that she's just a gold digger and is using me as a provider. She moved in after just 3 months. I truly hope that isn't the case, but the signs sure seem to point to it, and if it is that way, I think I'll break up with her. So I'm here to ask, am I overthinking this or is the worst true? I pray to God I'm looking too far into this, but now that I'm actually reading what I wrote, this is terrifying. I can't even confront her about this for fear of turning her away from me. I can't accuse her of using me for my money and still expect her to stay with me or respect me after that. Well, OP, at least you acknowledge that you're in a very tough spot. Now, unfortunately, with the information that you've given us, I can't for sure say that she's a gold digger, but she is definitely very proud of you being a doctor. I honestly don't understand why some people do that. I've personally never introduced my wife mentioning what she does for a living, and if it does come up, it's because somebody asked. So even though it's not a direct indication of gold digging, it is kind of weird that she would mention it so happily like that. Also, OP, it does sound like your relationship is moving very fast. I mean, she moved in with you just 3 months in. You guys are still in the honeymoon period by then. Moving in was a mistake. Now, the one thing that does kind of bug me is that she's mentioning marriage and children so quickly into the relationship, like 5 months in, like she's in a hurry or something. That's kind of weird to me. But again, I don't think that's a direct indication that she would be a gold digger. I personally think I'd need more information to make that judgment, but I do believe that it's not looking great. And what do you guys think? What would you ask or tell OP? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Deleted says, "I'm just going to lob this one out there. OP, you saying the following about your girlfriend. She was unquestionably the most gorgeous woman I have ever seen, easily 15 out of 10. Although we don't have too many interests in common, the chemistry is tremendous. We already said we love each other 4 months in, and I truly believe it. She moved in after 3 months. Dear doctor, she seems effing weird, but it also seems like you might be in a symbiotic relationship. You don't appear to care about her professional goals, you don't seem to care about her interests, because hey, chemistry. And I'm sure she didn't just sneak her stuff into your house in the middle of the night. Here's the advice. Figure out what actually bothers you about the idea of her being a gold digger. Is it the lack of ambition? Is it the imbalance of labor in the relationship? You might not feel it's a huge problem if she's an amazing homemaker and stay-at-home mom. Is it that she wouldn't love you for you? You already claimed that you both said I love you, and at this very moment, you believe that you're both in love. Some women see a guy at a bar, think he has a hot body, and find out they click on more meaningful levels than appearance. Some women see a guy at a bar, think he might have money, and they find out they click on more meaningful levels than finance. Money isn't my turn on, but I can't really claim it's too different than good cheekbones. Crap, at least you earned the money. Dragging Lungs says, there's still the possibility she came from humble beginnings and hasn't had the opportunities you have. I met my wife when we were at school together. She worked at a neighborhood video store with a smut section in the back. She had immigration issues and parents with money issues, and here I come as an engineer ready to graduate. I could have called her a gold digger for prospectively having an interest, but not the case at all. She works harder on her lazy days than I do on my most frantic. She is my rock and has enriched my life with different experiences. We only know from OP that she's beautiful. Give your girl a chance, don't run just yet. She may just surprise you that beautiful people sometimes fall in love. I Crack Skulls says, also a doctor here, she might be genuinely proud of you, it is hard to tell. And who said she couldn't be in love with you and also liked the fact that you are well off financially? I think the best way to judge her intentions is how does she divide up expenses in the house? Is she expecting you to pay for everything? Beyond that, I would talk to her about it, hash it out with her, tell her how you feel. I have had this discussion with my wife many times about not announcing in public I am a physician. She does it because she is proud of me and likes to show me off, but understands why I don't like announcing it in public. Your girlfriend could just not know you prefer to be modest about it. Additional information from OP's comments. I realize I come across as shallow. I don't just care about her looks. I will admit that her looks are what attracted me to her in the first place, but her personality is what kept me around. As I said, we don't share too many common interests, different tastes in movies, books, hobbies, etc. But we can talk for hours about the most mundane things and still have fun doing so. She is delightful, easygoing, and hilarious. A joy to be around, and we do connect really well. It's not just about appearance and sex, despite what some posters are saying about me. My friends get along with her well enough, but don't really feel we're right for each other. My mother is dead, and my father doesn't like her too much and says she's shallow. I respect my father more than anyone else in the world. We got into a fight over what he said, but this was still when I was pathetically blind in love with her. She works in retail and said she wants to be a stay-at-home mom like her own mother was. She doesn't really contribute financially to the household, but she does take care of the household stuff like vacuuming, cooking, laundry, etc. She handles most of it. I pay the bills myself and also pay for new furniture, appliances, etc. She does pay sometimes when we go out though. I don't want to pay for everything for her. I would like her to lend more of a hand to our finances, but given our income gap, I understand why she won't. I know I was stupid to agree to her moving in after only 3 months, but I was so hopelessly blinded by love that I forced myself to only see the good in letting her move in so early. And she was having some problems with her roommate, so I was willing to help her out. In any case, I'm not really interested in having children right now, so I always use a condom, and she is on birth control, and a prenup is a necessity if we do get married. The speed at which things are going, the massive disparity in our incomes, her incessant mentions of marriage and children, and introducing me as a doctor to every single person she wants me to meet is what makes me think that she's with me only because I'm a doctor. And the thing is, I hate telling people I'm a doctor. I didn't even tell her until the 3rd date. I don't like being paraded about. Alright, well, most people were giving the girlfriend the benefit of the doubt because OP did leave out some information. Now he gave us some context. So what do you guys think now? Is she a gold digger or not? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. She is a gold digger. I was fairly certain of this before I spoke to her, but then a Redditor argued the following points and helped me see things more clear. Few common interests. Certainly not a necessity, but often people in relationships share at least some interests. Short courtship. There's no hard rule about this, but cohabitation after 3 months is generally frowned upon because neither party really knows what they're getting into. Introduces you as a doctor. I get introducing you to her parents as the doctor. That would make any parent happy about the situation, but to everyone else, shouldn't it just be my wonderful boyfriend? Income disparity. Again, there is nothing wrong with people from two different economic groups falling in love, but the gap has to be relatively large, no? Hinting at marriage and kids. After 6 months? Dude, as much as you don't know her, she doesn't really know you. It's certainly possible that she's just immature, but with everything else... Past relationship history. From your comments, having lots of short relationships is, again, not a bad thing in and of itself, but you have to wonder why they were so short. Was it the guys? Could be, but the common denominator is her. Financial contribution. From your comments, she doesn't contribute to your shared household. Now, if this was discussed and established beforehand, well, whatever works for you guys. And she works in retail, so she can't be an equal contributor with you. But it seems like you have taken on the provider role as a default without actually talking about it. So all of these things taken together would certainly indicate that she is a gold digger, but I was still willing to talk it out in the hopes that I would be wrong. So Saturday night I took her out to dinner at a meh level restaurant. The first bad omen was that she got a bit miffed and asked why we weren't going to an elegant restaurant like we usually do. I said I didn't want to spend hundreds on a meal that night. I could tell she was annoyed. The food at the mediocre restaurant was still great, but she wasn't very happy during the meal. After dinner, we came home and I told her I needed to speak to her about future plans. First, I explained that we need to spend less on luxuries and save up for retirement and for my other projects. This is also true as I do intend to retire within the next 20 years and I'm looking to get into real estate. She was upset about this. Next, I told her I don't have any interest in marrying soon or having kids yet. This isn't a lie, I truly do not want to get married or have children yet. She got upset again, saying I'm just getting older and that soon I won't be able to have a family. She said it was not fair to her for me to keep stringing her along without committing, and this caused me to do a double take. What the F? I let her move in with me, I pay all the bills, I buy her tons of crap all the time, and I'm strictly monogamous. What other commitment aside from the fancy wedding is there? I told her this and she was now visibly frustrated. She says she wants marriage and children soon. I told her she can do that with another person since we're not on the same page. She started yelling at me for being an a-hole, so I told her that one day I would marry her, probably within the next 3 to 4 years. I thought this was reasonable enough, but she said she wants marriage now. She wants to be Mrs. OP by this time next year. I told her that we could definitely get married early, but only if we get a prenup. She flipped out, screaming that I don't trust her and think lowly of her. I brought up every point the Redditor mentioned that I put at the top of the update. I mentioned everything from the income disparity to the astoundingly fast pace of the relationship to her constant parading me around as a doctor. I told her that all of those facts, as well as her present behavior, proved to me that she's a gold digger. I told her we were done. At this point, she breaks down into tears and is mumbling incoherently. I tell her I'll help her find an apartment and cover her expenses for a month. I called her friend, who's on good terms with me, to pick her up. She left soon after without much protest. She's still at her friend's. She's been texting me asking if she can come home. I agreed and she's coming back tomorrow. I'll serve her the eviction notice tomorrow. I plan to help her search for affordable housing and I'm willing to help her get on her feet. I know she's a gold digger and doesn't deserve this courtesy, but the last 5 months have been pretty great and I feel it's the least I can do. That's it for me. It's sad that things turned out like this, but like a few users pointed out, it's better to end things now than years into marriage, when I have nothing to talk about with her because we share almost no interests. We're done, she's moving out, and I'm going to venture forth into the dating world in search of a woman who loves me, not my wallet. Wario forever. Well, OP, of course ending a relationship is sad, but at least now you know the truth, right? So OP, the best of luck in your search. Take care and thank you for sharing. Now, let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Petty Revenge, and it's by user IrmBrewDependent, entitled Mother Lets Her Kids Into My Garden. I, 29 female, don't have any kids, but have my younger sister, 16, living with me for around 10 years, and we have a trampoline still in our back garden from when she was younger. The neighbor to the left of me has 4 kids and moved in a year ago. 2 weeks ago, Glasgow started getting really good weather, so the kids have been out playing constantly. Not an issue. They asked if I could let the kids use the trampoline one day, so I was like, sure, but only for a bit because I have friends coming over for some drinks. 7 p.m. comes and I ask them to go home because my 5 friends have shown up and we're going to be drinking. Cue the crying. They leave the garden upset, but hey, that's not my issue. They've been on it for 3 hours at this point. Their mom pops her head out of the bedroom window and asks if they can stay in the garden longer. No, I'm not your babysitter. She's annoyed but drops it. Then last week I come home from some shopping and to my surprise find all 4 of the kids in the garden, plus their younger cousin. I ask them to leave and tell them they can't just come into my garden without me there, and they didn't even ask. They refuse to leave, so I shout up at their mother and tell her to get them out of the garden. She says, "Let them play for a bit, you don't even use it." Okay, but still, not your garden? Eventually, we get into an argument and they leave. She's pissed off and shouting, saying I'm being a Karen and I should let them in. I tell her not to ask again because the answer will be no. This happened again the day after, all 4 kids plus their cousin waiting till I moved the car from the drive and headed straight into the garden. So I woke up this morning. I've since put a lock on the trampoline, just a small one on the mesh safety enclosure to stop them from opening it up, because I'm petty as F. Plus, it's Saturday, I'm not working today, it's my day off and I want a long lie. But no, the neighbor decides that at 9 a.m. this morning, her kids are being fired straight out of that house with breakfast bars and a bottle of water, and they head straight into my garden. So I can hear them from my window. I look out and tell them to leave. By the time I get downstairs, Mom has descended from her house and is trying to climb the fence between our gardens, shouting about how I used to let them use it and she's going to call the police for hitting her kids. Great, you do that. I'll be sure to show them the Ring camera footage, which coincidentally also has footage of her husband picking the lock open so your brats can use the trampoline. So, long story short, the entitled mother sends her kids into my garden repeatedly, even after being told not to, calls the police on me for harassment and hitting her kids, and ends up getting her own husband arrested for theft and housebreaking, and criminal damage. Suck it, bitch. Yeah, she had that one coming for being an idiot. Thanks for sharing, OP. All the best. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.